Hey everybody, it's Shara. Just wanted to check in with everyone. It's been a while since we talked. I wanted to get on here and talk about something very, 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 very interesting tonight. I want to talk about some near-death experiences. So this is going to be story time. It's going to be the near-death experiences of a death doula. Ooh, that's a mouthful. I've had about 3 near-death experiences in my lifetime, and what that does for me is it makes me really, really, really never take for granted or underestimate a person's experience because it's unique to them, it's special to them, and I know for me, some of the times I talk about my experiences, people are like looking at me like, did that really happen? But it did. And I'm going to dive into that in a few minutes. But with my clients as a death doula, as they are approaching death, just looking at how sometimes they're present, but sometimes they're not. Sometimes it looks like they're in between worlds, sometimes really spacey, or just they're looking at me, but they're kind of looking through me. And then sometimes I'm wondering, like, what are they experiencing? What are they hearing? What's going on in their head, right? Like, what's happening in that space between this life and the next one where they're transitioning on to. So it made me think about it, like all the death experiences, near death experiences I've had, like how did I feel in in that space? What was I thinking? And yeah, so let's talk about a few of them. Let's talk about when I was 11. I was 11 years old and I went to the community YMCA with my cousins and my aunts. And it was just like, I was the only one that didn't know how to swim. Still don't, but I was like the only one that didn't know how to swim really. All my cousins could swim. And so my aunt, she was just like, okay, well, you sit here on the edge and you just put your feet in. And I was like, okay, that's cool for now, right? So everyone's swimming and having a good time and splashing water. And I'm just like, I can't believe the whole time in my head, I'm like, I can't believe I can't swim. I can't believe that I can't have fun with everybody else. And it was just making me so mad. I was getting like really upset. And you know what? At some point, I was just like, you know what? I'm just getting in. Like, if they can do it, I can do it. It was just like, I just jumped right in. I literally jumped in. And when I jumped in, I started to swim, right? I just, of course, like, I'm going to start swimming. I'm going to start swimming. But I wasn't really swimming. I think the panic started to kick in. And then what happened after that was I started to get tired and I started to look around me and I started to see everybody's feet and their legs and them swimming. And I could hear them laughing and having a good time. And I'm like, man, everybody's having a good time but me, right? And I'm like, I'm down here. I don't know what I'm doing. So I look to the side and of course I see the little stairs where you climb back out the water, right? And I'm like, okay, I just got to get over there. And I can get over there. So I'm thinking, okay, just I can swim over there, but I feel like I wasn't moving. I wasn't getting any closer to the stairs. And then the next thing I remember is like, it just got really quiet. I don't remember hearing everybody laughing and playing. It was just really silent. And that just got really, really calm. And after that, I remember faintly hearing my aunt say, "Where's Sharon? Where's Sharon?" I was like, I think they're looking for me. And after that, next thing you know, I was looking at their faces. So I went from looking at their legs and their feet to looking at their faces. I could see everyone's head in the pool. So I'm assuming at that point, that was when I left my body because I was looking from the top of the room, from the corner of the room, looking down on everybody. And I could see everybody scrambling, looking for me. And there's like, at that point, everybody was engaged. Like, where is she at? Where is she at? Where's she at? And I'm like, I'm just watching them in my mind. I'm just like, sorry about that. I have a noisy street here, but yeah, everyone was looking for me. And for me, I was just like, couldn't believe what I was seeing. And I was just like, are they going to find me? And thinking, are they going to find me? But I was so calm. I wasn't struggling. Like, I don't remember like trying to have difficulty breathing, choking. It was none of that. It was just this peace and watching everybody look for me. And then all of a sudden they found me. They're like, she's over there. She's over there. And then, the lifeguard comes and snags me up, right? And snatches me out the pool. And next thing you know, I see everybody's over my body as I'm laying on the ground on the side of the pool. And I believe they're trying to pump my chest to get the water out of my mouth. And I'm just watching this whole scene play out. But at that time, I was just really at peace. And I was just like, I wasn't thinking anything. I was just watching, just observing. And the next thing you know, I remember spitting out water, and I remember like that view from the top of the room down to, them performing this pump, my chest. That view was gone. All I could see was I was in my body and I was looking up at their faces and I was like, get off of me, right? I'm like, I'm fine. I guess I'm back in my body at this time. And, everybody was, hugging me and like, you're okay. And I'm like, yes, I'm okay. I'm fine. But it was just interesting that that space that I'm talking about again, like from the time I remember getting in the water, being panicked and looking at everyone's legs, listening to everyone look for me, to where this calmness came over me and to where I was no longer in the water. And I was watching, these palpitations being done on my chest and everybody panicking and looking down at everyone's faces and just being at peace. Yeah, so that was pretty, yeah, I remember that. I think I probably won't ever learn how to swim at this point. I don't know. I did try to take swim lessons a few times, but no, I just never really got back in the water like that enough. I can get in there as long as it's like I'm 5'4", so I'm getting in the water. It needs to be 3 to 4, 5 feet, 5 feet max, right? So let's see what else. Let's talk about this other time. And that was when I was 11. So we're talking about different time frames in life. And the next time I was in my 30s, mid 30s. Yeah. So with that time, I remember getting up, getting ready to go to work. Just a normal day, nothing was different. And I was driving my car down the same route I always go, get on the highway, and I'm driving. And I hear this voice like, put your seatbelt on. And I'm like, I thought like, okay, put my seatbelt on, but I heard it. I really heard it. So it's like, put my seatbelt on. And I kind of, I don't want to say argue back or thought back. I was like, you're only a block from work. You don't need to put your seatbelt on. I don't know. I rationalized that somehow. So as I get ready to come off my exit, I mean, it's kind of like you're coming off a highway ramp off the freeway, and then there's a light there normally. So sometimes you can stop or sometimes you can just go straight through. And this one had a light at the end of the ramp. So as I'm, decreasing my speed coming off the exit ramp, I mean, the light was yellow. So I'm like, I can go. So I continued on. And as I passed through the yellow light, there was another car that apparently ran the light, and we literally like crossed, like literally, like it was crazy. Like I know that car literally, it felt like it went through me. It was, it was definitely some divine intervention to why I'm still here. And literally at the time we intersected like this, I heard clearly as day, it's not your time. Because I was like, once we crossed, when they say your whole life flashed before your eyes, my whole life kind of like flashed before my eyes. And I was just like, I'm still here. And I didn't have my seatbelt on, remember? So like this car is coming at probably like, I don't know if he's trying to catch the light, maybe 75, just he sped up to get the light. So he was getting ready to T-bone me. So, and of course, right into my driver's door, and I didn't have a seatbelt on. I'm pretty sure it would have ejected me out of the car at, it would have just been horrible. But for some reason we did not, it was just a lot. All I know is that I remember my whole life flashing before my eyes. I remember felt like being in the Matrix. That's the only thing I can explain. I was just like, what's happening? But I could hear, I felt so calm, and I could hear spirit, what I call God. Everyone has their own name for what they call their higher being, their higher self, or who they pray to. But I say God, spirit, but I could clearly hear, it's not your time. You still have more work to do. Yes, I still get emotional when I think about it, because I know that, that was the point when my life could have been taken, and it was, ordered for me to stay around. I still have work to do here. So that's when I was in my 30s. And another time was not too long ago, about 5 years ago. I was in a car accident and had a tire blowout, and I was driving, and I remember it felt like I hit something, but I guess it was just a tire doing its little break or crack or whatever happens to the tire when they pop or blow out. So I literally lost control of the car. Mind you, I'm driving down the highway, I'm going, one direction. And then, there's a nice big field in between, the opposite traffic going the other direction. So I'm driving, and once I lose control, the car immediately goes into the, the little spin, and they say you're supposed to turn into the spin, right? Turn into it. So I'm thinking, okay, that's all I can remember, because I'm losing control of the car. I was only going about 45. And it was one of those dark roads too, because it had not a lot of traffic lights. It was mostly trees on both sides, but it had like 3 lanes on each side, and it had a nice big field gap between the lanes. And as I'm losing control of the car, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm praying that no one's in the right lane so I don't hit anyone as I'm trying to turn into it. And I turned into it again, and then it started to swerve the opposite way. And when I turned it to the left, all I know is the car just started to flip. It just started flipping, like boom, and it flipped again, boom. And then that point, I was getting out of the lane. I was getting to the field that was dividing the opposite, coming traffic. So I'm flipping again, and I'm like, okay. I'm seeing the other lane traffic, opposite traffic coming probably about 75, 80 miles an hour. They were just going. And all I'm thinking as I'm flipping, I'm like, I'm going to flip in front of these people. They're not going to see me. I'm just going to come out into the traffic, and none of these cars are going to see me coming, and I'm just going to kill a lot of people. And that's all. And then all of a sudden I have this calmness come over me. And this is all happening in slow motion. And I'm pretty sure it was probably only a minute or less, but it was happening in slow motion. So as I'm flipping, I'm like, God, like, is this really how my life's gonna end? It's like, I didn't imagine my life ending like this. And I say, and I don't want to kill all these people, I was just like, I really need to talk to you. Like, this is and I got this calm over me again. It was just like, calm down. You're not going anywhere. You got a lot. It's still not your time yet. You still got a lot of work to do. And I'm like, okay. So all of a sudden I felt this calmness. Then I felt like I was inside of this bubble. It's really, really, really like form of protection. And the car's still flipping. And it's like, why is it taking so long to flip? And all of a sudden I saw myself getting to the edge of the last lane, the edge of the field, to where if I flip one more time, I would literally be into the opposite coming traffic. And soon as I hit that last flip, car just landed upside down, on its head, right? So I did not go into the traffic of the oncoming traffic. And all I remember was as soon as it landed upside down, all of the windows just flashed out. Everyone, front, I was like, ugh. And I was just like, and then it's almost like I came back to life. Like all the calmness went away, all the quietness went away, all the communication went away. It was like now I was in like the real world again. I was like, I could hear trucks, I could hear people running towards me. Do you need help? I could hear like it was just pure, yeah, just broke loose. You know what I mean? So I was like, here, hold on. So I think I was in the daze at that point because I was just like, okay, like looking for stuff, like, and then I was crawling around in glass and I get out of the car and then someone comes over and like, are you okay? Okay, like, I'm fine, I'm fine. And then I was like, I need to get my purse and everything. So I go back to get my purse. I'm crawling back in, kicking glass out of the way. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I hear this spirit tell me again, it's like, why are you crawling back in that car? What if that car blows up? And I was like, you know what? Let me get back out of this car. So I turned around, like, forget whatever's in that car. I'm gonna get out of this car because I really didn't know if there was a gas leak or anything. So I turned around and got back out of the car. That was good advice. So needless to say, I was still in that space where I felt protected. I felt really calm. I heard the voice of God, spirit tell me it wasn't my time. I still had a lot more work to do. I knew I was going to be okay. I felt protected. I felt that same bubble of protection around me when the car was flipping, as I remember when I was underwater when I was 11. And it's just, for me, it's that feeling of like, there is a lot of work for me to do. Being a death doula, the people that I work with, the community that I work with, the clients that I work with and that I serve, I know that this is my calling and I know that this is the work that I'm supposed to be doing. And I love it. And yeah, it's just this story, it's a little bit of a different story, but I just wanted to share because sometimes, we hear about people's near-death experiences and, sometimes we really don't understand them, or we may even take light of them or make fun of them or think they're making them up. But honestly, these are their experiences. And I honestly believe me, I don't care what anybody else believes. I do believe that spirit, God, whatever you want to believe, will step in and intervene. And, there are times when I hear people feel, say, or think that they feel like their loved ones suffered. I know when I felt that protection over me in some experiences to where people might have think, oh, she's underwater drowning. I was so calm. I was so protected. I was like, there was in this little encapsulated bubble. I was not suffering. Now, when I get pulled out of the water and I'm choking, yeah, maybe I'm back in my human body and I'm like gagging on water and, people shaking me and pinching me and pumping on my chest. Yeah, I'm a little pain, but I was drowning. I was fine. I mean, I was so protected. I didn't feel a thing. I was in the calmness of spirit. It was just the most beautiful thing that I felt. And I said I felt that again when I was in that car when it was flipping. It was just like that, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna get through this. You still have work to do. And yeah. Anyway, that's a little story time of death doula and her near-death experiences. I do want to talk in another video about hospice volunteer and death doula work. So I actually am currently still a hospice volunteer, even though I am a death doula. Interesting. I started out as a hospice volunteer and became a death doula, but I volunteer in hospice for pediatrics. So that's another episode I want to talk about. And I wanted to just get on here to talk about something. It's been a while. I haven't really got my groove yet, or how I'm going to do this podcast and what we're going to talk about. I kind of know what we're going to talk about. I just don't know the frequency and as you can see, all this space back here, I just moved, so everything's a little bit, probably a little echoey too. So just getting that set up, just a lot of things that I have to get established. So you'll just be popping in with a few shorts here. So hopefully you give them a like and help me grow my channel and a subscribe and check out some of the links I have. I have links to end of life resources. I have links to a Death Doula World blog. I'm going to be writing some stories. I really want to write. I like to talk and tell stories. So I'm gonna have story time here, but then I want to write too. So yeah, so Death Doula World is going to be a blog I'm going to be doing. So what else do I have? I have a fundraiser I'm doing for my friend Philip, and I'm not going to talk too much about that because I'm probably going to start crying because I'm for the second time in the last 2 years. Has it been 2 years? Yeah, no, it's about 3. I've been a death doula for a close friend. And I mean, as a death doula, it's one thing when you're working and you're taking care of, your clients and families. But when you're so close to a situation, it's a loved one, it's someone that it's really, really makes the work a lot more difficult. So I'm not going to go ahead and cry because, I'm going to cry a little bit because God, I'm just going to cry a little bit because I get a call from Diane who's with him. And I don't know, it's weird. Both Hans and Philip, I mean, their end of life have similarities. They both lost the ability to eat, which is like, and I'm a foodie, so this is hard for me. Both to cancer, but different types of cancer, different locations. But well, Hans was more in the jaw area, and Phillips is more in the esophagus. So both where they cannot eat food. I mean, a lot of us understand that food is very important to us. Like it's like our happy space. I mean, when you take away food from someone, when they already are kind of pretty much bound to a hospital bed, or their life has already been limited because of their health condition, and the only one thing they have left is food or is for happiness, and you take that away from them. I mean, man, and it's just hard too, because Philip, when me and Diane and I would go out to eat, we would always bring Philip back some leftovers, and he would be so happy to get them. He didn't care what it was, he'd eat anything. And yeah, so it's just sad that to watch, that he cannot, I tried to support him and Diane to give him, the love and Diane support that they need, and just, to make his end of life experience as good as it can be. But, I'm sure he would probably like it if he can eat some of his favorite foods and things like that. He can no longer do that. He's, trying to still, but I know Diane told me at this point they're going to consider taking him out of the home because he keeps trying to sneak food and steal food and eat food. I shouldn't say steal it, but he's been told no, he shouldn't have it. And I don't know, I'm kind of torn like that too. I'm just like, just let him have it. I mean, he can't really eat it, he just throws it up. But anyway, I'm changing the subject, but I'm getting really emotional because I do care about my friend. So anyway, Yeah, so like, subscribe, check out my links below, look out for my Death Doula World blog. What else? Check out some resources I have. I have a Death Doula course. I have an application online. So anyone think about being a Death Doula, definitely check out my website. And I have some courses I'm doing in the fall, which is coming up really soon. So you can apply now. What else? I have like I said, the fundraiser, and then you can also donate to the channel and buy me a cup of coffee. I use that link for donations. And that's all. I'm such a crybaby. Oh my goodness. Sorry, guys. You guys don't probably see me cry a lot, especially doing this type of work. And it's okay too, because I always feel like, I'm good at being the strong person. I'm good at being the rock in the room. But, sometimes it's good to let myself, you know, crumble a little bit, and then, take care of myself and work on my self-care, because it's just like, I have to, renew myself. I have to recharge my battery. Yeah, so let me stop rambling. Thank you. And I will be back. I think I will be back probably tomorrow for the hospice volunteer versus death doula episode. I definitely want to talk about that, because I believe that if you're curious about becoming a death doula, if you're a caregiver, that's great. If you want to get closer to working with end of life care, hospice volunteer work is a great way to do it. So we'll talk more about that. What are the differences? You know, what will you likely experience, and just how to go about applying, and anything else that you guys want to talk about. All right. I love you, and thank you for your patience while I figure out this podcast platform, but I'll get it. I'll get it. I'm gonna get it. I can't even turn the video off. Okay, bye, everybody.